We are Adventure Endeavor. We do not know where we are or what we're doing. No, just kidding. We are here at the Overland Adventure Power Motorsports RV Travel
Expo.
Off-Road Expo show. So far we've discovered that you can either do a 5-minute walk or you can do like a 1-minute tram ride.
Hello there, fellow adventurers. We are Jesse and Melissa of Adventure Endeavor, and we are here today to talk to you about an event that we went to recently in Pomona, California.
Oh, you're gonna throw me under the bus like that?
What is it called?
The name is a little tricky. It's like very long. It's California's Overland Adventure and Power Motorsports
Expo?
Expo. We probably butchered that, but anyways, it was a couple weeks ago. It was mid-March that we went, and it is at the Fairplex in Pomona. Drove the Jeep down just because we like driving the Jeep. It was $17 to park and $12 a person at the gate, or $10 a person online. Little Lincoln was free, of course, because we carried him in a backpack. No, I'm kidding. Kids are free. I think under 5. Don't hold me to that.
Yeah, they had food vendors there, and it was mostly all about camping, overlanding, power motorsports, just like Jesse said. A lot of different vendors related to those kinds of activities. And so we wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about what that whole event was, but mostly about the different off-road travel trailers that we saw there, because that is something that we are very, very interested in, and it's kind of like a dream of ours one day to...
Well, definitely my dream. I don't know about yours.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if owning one is necessarily our dream.
To be in a very small off-road capable trailer to go to remote locations. So we're always looking.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're ready to buy anytime soon. There were 3 major companies out there. And we're going to kind of talk about what we liked about each. I mean, dislikes a little bit here and there, but overall, like, they're pretty impressive vehicles.
If you're
vehicles? Are they vehicles?
They're not vehicles. Towables. They're impressible towables.
There you go.
If you're not familiar with our channel, we are actually full-time RVers. We have been on the road full-time for the past 4 years. So when I'm hesitant to say that we want to own an off-grid off-road travel trailer, it's because we live in our RV full-time, and so these smaller sizes, you know, living in it full-time could be difficult, but what we love about these is that they're so versatile, so capable. We can really, really go way out in the boonies, anywhere that you want to go. That's what's so cool about them.
Yeah, currently we're in a 30-foot Grand Design travel trailer. We did a little lift kit on it, and we did a few other off-grid upgrades, but it's just too big to take on trails. We tow it with a Ram 2500. That's all built out. It's on 37s, and then we also have our Jeep that we take with us. First trailer that we really checked out was the Imperial Outdoors X145. So this was the most expensive trailer like I've ever seen, ever. No, I'm just kidding. They go for about $140,000, but no expense left behind on these things. So one thing I absolutely loved was they have full roof solar with real panels, not the flexible panels. I think they get close to 750 watts up there. Covers the whole roof. They actually had custom panels made to fit their roof perfectly. The one that we looked at had 1,000 amp hours of lithium battery. They're rated for -40 degrees. Like, that is insane. Like, cool, I'm in my trailer, I go outside and I just freeze to death. Like,
so you might be wondering why they're rated for -40. Well, the manufacturers who have created these trailers, they actually started out by building the ice houses for ice fishing. And so you know that from that background, these things are built really, really well for the negative temperatures.
yes.
And they feel extremely high end. I
Stout
mean, the
and high-end, yeah.
the high price point, it's for a very good reason. They are extremely well thought out, really, really high quality materials all around. The layouts were nice. Well, the one that we saw.
They only had one there. That
Yeah.
was kind of a bummer. I think they have 2, maybe 3 models, but it would have been nice if they had a couple more there.
I was impressed. Sorry to cut you off. I was just very impressed that the layout that we saw had a separate dry bath, considering how tiny it actually was.
Yeah, it was a nice layout. They come with about 60 gallons of fresh water, independent suspension, a articulating hitch or coupler, whatever you want to call it. They have an emergency brake on the front to kind of help with if you don't have chocks with you. Spares, extra fuel cans. I mean, literally everything you can think of in these models. They're just immaculate. They're amazing. Like, you touch the walls, everything feels solid. There's like, you know, when you look at like a normal travel trailer, when you go to a lot, like lots of times like panels are loose, like things are falling, and you know, but these things are just stout and awesome. Melissa didn't like that they didn't have a bunkhouse model. The only option for sleeping is basically the main bed, or I think the dinette goes down, which for us, we would want a permanent fixed bed for kids. They were telling us that most of their clientele are older folks who can afford such a model and normally have their kids out of the nest or never had kids.
The next rigs that we checked out were the Black Series travel trailers. They had a lot of different models on display, I think about 4 of them, which is nice to see the different layouts that they've come up with in these different trailers. Black Series really pioneered the market for the off-road capable travel trailers, at least in the United States, and they are the most well-known in the United States for this type of rig.
Yeah, so from my understanding, designed in Australia, made in China, and like reassembled in the US. Don't quote us to any of this. Sounds right. And yeah, they were the first ones really here in the US, which was pretty cool to see. I remember when they came out and you're just like, wow, like they're nice. They have full hard-sided trailers. They have trailers that completely compact down and fold up, and then they have hybrids where it's like almost all hard-sided with a pop-up top, just to give you that head clearance, which is I think something that we would like. It was really cool to see all the different models. They even have a couple toy hauler models where you can put quads. I don't know that you could fit like a Razor, maybe a 2-seat Razor, not a 4-seat. Personally, for me, I'm not a huge fan of like the red. They do black and red, and I think they also do black and like bright yellow, like pinstriping. I'm not a fan of that.
To each their own.
Exactly. And then we noticed that a few of the models, they had kind of awkward layouts. Like, you know, they had a full outdoor kitchen with a sink and everything, which was nice. But then on the inside, they had a stove and a burner, but like they didn't have a sink. So we were like, okay, like that's cool. You can make coffee in the morning on the stove or cook something.
Yeah.
But then you got to go outside and do your dishes. So like that was interesting. Maybe we were missing something there. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they have a reason for doing it like that. But overall, pioneers here in the US essentially, and they made some nice stuff.
Another thing I think is really smart that they've designed with the Black Series campers is that they actually have separate tanks. One for just your regular fresh, and then one for your actual drinking water. So a designated drinking water tank, which I think is super duper smart. You know, just keep that drinking water as clean as possible. And that is a nice segue into the next trailer that we are going to talk about, which is MDC, because Black Series and MDC both have really high water capacity, considering how small
a lot of the
trailers themselves are, because that's kind of the point of having an off-grid, off-road capable travel trailer, is that you're not going to be staying in the campground or an RV park with full hookups. You're going to be going out into the boonies or way up into the mountains or somewhere. You're not going to have access to water, so you need to take it all with you.
Yeah, I think the Black Series comes with, like, I want to say, don't quote me to this, but like a 50 for general water, and then I think a 12 or 15 for drinking water. So combined, you're anywhere from like 50 to like, let's say 65, I'm guessing. And then the MDC as well, they do dual tanks, a bunch of different sizes, but from my understanding with them is like they do dual tanks so that the trailer is balanced well. So it'll have like, let's say 25 on each side or front and back. It just all depends on how they build that exact model, but they have those things in their mind, right? Like balance, like off-grid. Also, both the MDC and the Black Series come with a variety of different solar setups. I think they mostly use flexible panels. Some come with lead acid, some come with lithium. I mean, you know, options vary. The MDCs, we really liked the style of the MDCs. Like a lot of their cabinetry is like white on the inside, which you think wouldn't be good, but it made them feel really large. Mm-hmm. And it was like white gloss, so I feel like it would clean or stay clean very well.
Right.
And then the exteriors for me, like do like a silverish gray and black. And for me, being a guy, gray and black, like, you know, this green, this hat's like a little out of the ordinary for me.
I feel like the MDC trailers really utilized the space very well. So in addition to having really sleek, beautiful, white, bright interior that makes the space feel larger, which is very important in such a small space, they utilize the actual like storage space, the cabinets. Like a lot of other trailers out there on the market don't necessarily utilize the space to what I believe is the best that they could, but MDC I think does a really, really good job of that.
Yeah, and MDC as well, they have the tent trailers, they have the hybrid, and then they have full-on travel trailers that are completely hard-sided as well.
Lots of good storage, good function, and really nice layout options.
Another trailer that was really interesting, they only had one model there, because I believe they only have one model. It was a Tribe trailer, and this one was cool because it was all hard-sided, but it was a pop-up. Like if you're familiar with an Alaskan camper, it's two layers that overlap on the outside, and then they go vertically with hydraulic cylinders so that you can stand up inside, and it works like a normal trailer, but when you're driving, it comes down. And that's kind of nice because it's all hard-sided. You don't have wind, any canvas potentially to flap, stuff like that. The layout was really neat. That one we looked at was pretty simple. It had a big bed, dinette. Even had a wet bath.
Yes, it had a wet bath.
I didn't go in that one because I had Lincoln on my back, and it was really hard to go in a lot of trailers. So she was going in a few more than I was. A lot of storage underneath. I think it's just a really cool concept, and it's cool to see a lot more companies now in the U.S. Like I said, this would be the 4th trailer company that makes an off-road capable trailer in the U.S. now. And then there's a lot more other than that's just what's at the show.
Another rig that really impressed us on display there, well, let me preface this by saying that we have 2190 watts of solar on our current RV, so fancy solar setups are very impressive to us. And they had a trailer on display that had this gigantic folding out.
I think they slid out
situation.
I think they slid.
Okay.
But it was a very small, it's one of those trailers that has like your little camp kitchen, some storage, and a big water tank. That's it. Like you can't sleep in it.
Yeah, it's not like an inside
But
space.
it had a rack that came up, and it had solar panels that I believe slid out. You might be correct. And it was hooked up to like a Rivian SUV, and I think they had a different one hooked up to the Rivian pickup truck. So kind of like showing like, well, you could go off grid and charge your rig. I mean, even though we know that would take forever. But if you have enough charge in your Rivian to go up to the trail and hang out for a few days, it'll help, I guess.
Just the concept of it was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was a very cool setup. And then as well, there was a lot of truck campers, whether it be a slide in the bed of your pickup truck camper or something that gets mounted to the frame of your truck and you get rid of your bed, or whether it was a topper, like that kind of acts like a camper shell that has a pop-up tent. One of my favorites was Topo toppers. They're just super simple. So they have 2 models, one that is a wedge style, so it's a camper shell that bolts on. You can use it as a camper shell, just like a normal camper shell. And then basically the wedge style just pops open and you have a tent and you have a bed up there. And then another one that is similar where it just pops up vertically and you have a bed up there. You can get like camping gear in the back. That'd be great for us because we could use it for camping gear storage, and then we could pop it up on weekend trips, and then as well we could use it potentially as an office.
So overall, it was a relatively small expo. The hall was not very big. There was some vendors outside, vendors inside. There was a couple of kind of like random vendors. Like there was like a backpack vendor and lights, like cargo boxes, those kinds of things. But overall, most of it was very related to the off-roading and camping world. There were even some like hobbyist type of
like RC cars and like model planes and stuff like that. And they had like a little rock crawling track and a drift track, and it was fun to watch kids and adults playing with them.
Yeah.
So overall, I mean, I would highly recommend it if you're ever in Southern California. If you guys enjoyed this video, remember to subscribe, like, all that kind of stuff. If you want to go a little bit further, you can become a channel member to help support us.
And if you have any questions about any of the rigs that we discussed today, please drop that down in the comments and we will do our best to answer them.